Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next review for Halloween month. And for the next thriller I want to review is a film that I do enjoy. I think it's although this one got positive stuff to say from critics, so but I still think it's an under the radar type of film, especially from a director whose sadly is now passed on, sadly, because I enjoy this director, especially along with him and John Carpenter were both considered as masters of horror and thrillers. So, but yeah, this film is from the late director Wes Craven, and at least I miss Wes Craven a lot. But the film I want to talk about today is I think it's more underrated one. It's called Red Eye, and like I said, Wes Craven directed this film, and I've always enjoyed Wes Craven. From when we did Nightmare on Elm Street, from Shocker, which I love Shocker, People Under the Stairs, Serpent Under the Rainbow. Well, because of course this film, and of course when we did New Nightmare. And although I said before I wasn't the biggest fans of his first two movies, both the originals of Last House on the Left and Hills of Eyes, I wasn't really big fans of those. I prefer the remakes. But at the same time, doesn't make me downgrade Wes Craven further, because like I said, he made such a lot of classic films. Like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, Shocker, People Under the Stairs, Serpent Under the Rainbow. Although other ones he did are was Vampire in Brooklyn, I wasn't a fan of though. I think he also directed was it also a Deadly Friend he did? but this film, Wes Craven, of course, how can I forget the Scream movies? Yeah, how can I forget about the Scream films? I like the first three, but the last film he did, which that was the last film he did do before he passed away. I was not a fan of the fourth one though. Oh yeah, and My Soul to Take as well. I wasn't a fan of either. My Soul to Take, but I like the first three Scream films though, and other films I just mentioned. But Red Eye, I think, is one of his more underrated ones. Even though this film was positive and successful box office wise, I still think it's an enjoyable film of a thriller. Though this is an action thriller, there wasn't much action in it though. It's more of a thriller. That's why I put it. And the film it came out in 2005 and was a success. Of the box office was. And the plot is fairly simple. It's very simple, straightforward. And the film is also a short movie as well. It says an hour and 25 minutes, but take out in credits about an hour and 20 minutes. It's a short movie. And like I said, it's very simple. You have your two leads here. First, you have Rachel McAdams here, which I thought she did a good job. She plays a character named Lisa. She's a hotel manager in this hotel in Florida, Miami, which she's heading back to. That's why she's taking the Red Eye, hence the title, the Red Eye. And she's on the phone with her father, played by Brian Cox, which another actor I enjoy as well. I like Brian Cox. He plays as her father. She's on her way back, and in the airport, she meets Cillian Murphy, which I thought he also did a good job. I think that's one of my favorite performances from Cillian Murphy, because I like Cillian Murphy. I like 28 Days Later. I was looking forward to seeing his role in A Quiet Place Part 2, which he was going to star in, but of course we know what happened with that film. But other films I like, although I thought I overall did not mind him as Scarecrow in Christopher Nolan's in the first one. I'm not a fan, like I said before, I wasn't a big fan of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Best part, like I said before, Heath Ledger, and that was it though. But other things though, Cillian Murphy was not in the first one. What was it, the Batman Begins? Yeah, I think he was not that bad as the Scarecrow. But Cillian Murphy, I thought he was very good. He was very good in this. He was as a villain. He's he when he first meets Rachel McAdams, he plays this sort of like a charming, good looking guy, and trying to win Rachel McAdams over, but by being charming to her. But as soon as the moment they take up, like shortly after the plane takes off, then we see his villainous side of him. When she asks what does he do, and he's like, oh, like conspirators, assassinations and all that stuff, and tells about you want your father to live, right? And they're saying that your father will live if you do this, and like use your manager skills to move, because a guy by the name of Keith. He's a guy who's on his way to the hotel, and he wants the rooms changed to go, like, he wants from this room number to go up to this room number, right? And their plan, like Cillian Murphy's other people, like, they want to kill this guy because he's a guy who's like with some sort of like national security or something like that, and they want him assassinated. So that's why Cillian Murphy is telling Rachel McAdams to use her manager skills to authority to move him from this room to this other room that they set up for him, and doing so, your father will live. And like Rachel McAdams tries to, first she says no, and like she tried to do little things to try to do like, this is when she lent a book too. She writes a little thing inside of it, and Cillian Murphy already knows about that, and he's like, I assume she's gonna read that. Then goes and headbutts her, takes the book away from the old lady, but doesn't kill her, but takes the book away, and or she goes to the bathroom, and she writes, like, gets some soap and writes on the mirror like the seat number has a bomb, and she goes forces her way into there with her in the bathroom with her. And it just explain, they're like, I never lied to you. You know why, Lisa? Because it doesn't serve me. We do, and I love it. And it's, this is what I explain the lines better. What Cillian Murphy says. What he says is much more what I'm saying though, but he does a good job of delivering as well. And when they leave the bathroom, he's like, "Thanks for the quickie." And then once in a while it jumps back to Brian Cox at his house. Once in a blue moon, you see him now and then, and which eventually Rachel McAdams does make the calls her friend at the hotel, actually played by Jayma Mays, which she's been in some films like. She's including the Smurfs movies, the ones with Neil Patrick Harris. She was in those, and she's done some other stuff as well. She's a friend who works at the hotel. She tells her to make the room switch. She does. And then by the time they get on the ground, by the time when they get on the ground, Rachel McAdams took this pen from one of the kids. Because one of the kids had a pen, she took it from him, and stabs Cillian Murphy in the neck. And actually, one of the two kids, which they're brothers, one of the kids I recognize is actually Kyle Gallagher Jr., which most are from the Nightmare on Elm Street remake and a couple of other ones. So, but most remember him from starring in the Elm Street remake. But because you see Kyle Gallagher Jr., he tells the brother where Cillian Murphy has the pen in his neck, and he goes, "Well, there goes your pen, dude." Yeah, the one says, "Well, there goes your pen, dude." That's Kyle Gallagher Jr. Yeah. So then, and then you get, then for the most of the movie comes mostly like a cat and mouse, because Cillian Murphy's chasing Rachel McAdams to the airport, and then and then Rachel McAdams goes and steals a car, heads to her dad's house, where there was a guy who Cillian Murphy mentioned before, that the guy who's been watching her dad, takes the car, goes and rams right into the guy, kills him, and then, and now so Cillian Murphy has to talk like this because he was stabbed in the neck, and says with the bad guys at the hotel, when the guy who had the security, his family's there with them, the bad guys are on this fishing boat, and they hook this big huge crate that contains a huge rocket launcher, and it shoots this really big missile out, shoots it, but thankfully that Rachel McAdams was able to call Jayma Mays in time to get the family out of there just before the missile hits the room. Pretty decent explosion. As the room inside is exploding all around them. And then when Rachel McAdams tells Cillian Murphy, everyone is still alive. You failed, Jack. I'll finish the job. Not in my house. And then it becomes more of a cat and mouse through this house, and it shows Rachel McAdams. She's a strong woman. She's not a weak, damsel in distress. I broke a nail, dead weight type of character. No, she's a fighter. She has this big stick. Swings at Cillian Murphy, hits him in his hand. You clearly hit him in the hand. Well, he has a knife, and she stabs him with the leg with one of her heels and headbutts him. So she's like I said, a fighter as well. And then at the end, Brian Cox, at least he gets to do something as well. So he ends up shooting Cillian Murphy. Doesn't kill him though, but you can see he's still alive. It was okay. At least Brian Cox got to do something, because you see him throughout this whole movie not doing much because just sitting around though. But hey, at least it was cool that Brian Cox got the final shebang, shooting Cillian Murphy. So at least he got the final shot in. Like I said, he's still Cillian Murphy is still alive though, but he's just gonna get arrested though. And then it goes, and then Rachel McAdams goes back to the motel. The security guy thanks her, and Rachel McAdams talk with Jayma Mays, and they get the funny thing, you get this old couple that comes. They're at the beginning because they said they come there like often. They made reservations in advance and said they didn't get it. So this older couple is just being a complete, utter douchebags to Jayma Mays, treating her like crap. And so they come out again, and was like, oh, well, we want to get rid of her, and the roof ceiling collapsed on us and all that. And Rachel McAdams goes like, well, here's what you can do. You can fill out a comment card. What? You want to fill out a comment card? Yeah. So after you do that, you can take it and just shove it up your ass. Well, yeah, it was why not? Because those two were being such douchebags to Jayma Mays. So yeah, and Rachel McAdams, she's not gonna have it anymore, because after what she's been through, she's not gonna have to have it dealing with them. So she goes and said that to him. So I thought I was like, yeah, that's why I tell him off. But yeah, so Red Eye, like I said, I got this through very quickly because it's a very simple, straightforward plot, and there's not much to talk about because most of it was on the plane, and not much happens on the plane though. But it's like little stuff, it's simple stuff, because it was mostly on between Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy. So, and it was very well paced, I would say, because like I said, it went through that like very fast, because like as soon as they're on the plane, and little stuff that happens, also they're back out, and then at the house, and so yeah, it was a very fast yeah, to me it looked like it was a fast paced film, and But I said very simple plot and straightforward. And this is some reviews here, like here on the front here is calling it a killer of a thriller, or on the back of here is saying that a taut, tense, white-knuckle ride from Wes Craven, the master. Well, yeah, I would say he's a master of thriller and horror. Same with on the same level with John Carpenter. But yeah, so I can understand that. But yeah, so Red Eye, yeah, it was. I still enjoy the film. Yeah, this is another film that my mother enjoys. She also enjoys this film. And the film worked best because, like, Rachel McAdams, I thought she did a really good job. The same thing with Cillian Murphy. Brian Cox, who I enjoy as an actor. It was cool to have him in here a little bit as Rachel McAdams' father. And it was cool that he got the last shooting at Cillian Murphy. And so the characters, like Jayma Mace, I thought she did fine as well. Not much though, but she was alright. A score by Marco Beltrami, which you heard me talk about this guy before, who did the score. Marco Beltrami, like when he did the score for other films, like he did score for Live Free or Die Hard, and also including the Resident Evil, the first one, if I remember, the first Resident Evil film. Basically, he's done scores on other films as well too. And yeah, I thought it was well paced, and I thought it was I thought it went too fast considering it's a short movie, though, but still. There's not much action, though. It was just, like I said, towards the end, it was more cat and mouse. That type of cat and mouse thriller type stuff. Was not much on action, though. But yeah, this is Red Eye. It was an enjoyable thriller, and like I said, Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy, I thought they did a really good job. And Wes Craven, rest in peace. I thought he did also a good job in this film. I thought this one deserves a little bit more recognition because of considering it's Wes Craven, and of course I'll always prefer his older movies but more than this. Like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, People Under the Stairs, Serpent of the Rainbow, Shocker, Scream. Well, I will say I probably like this better than some of the other ones. I wasn't the biggest fan of Swamp Thing, for I remember. I forgot to mention Swamp Thing, but I don't think I remember being that big fan of it, though. But, yeah, I also put this above this, and Deadly Friend, and Vampire in Brooklyn. I'll put this above those. But yeah, Red Eye, I thought this was one of his more underrated ones, and it was a very enjoyable thriller for me. But with thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more for our Halloween month. Later.